welcome everyone. My name is Mohammed Alatrash, and I'm integration consultant, integration architect at Capgemini. I'm working on integration technology for about like 15 years, and lately I'm working with MuleSoft technology the most. But before that, I was working with TIBCO, APIGEE, other integration API management tool. And today I will just like go with you and talk about MuleSoft and how to develop your first API using MuleSoft. Actually, MuleSoft is there in integration market for like about more than 15 years now.
Mohammed,
And it started,
Mohammed, may
yes,
I interrupt you a while? We cannot
sure.
see your presentation yet, so maybe
Yeah,
you can share it.
it's there. Can you
Thank
see it now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like MuleSoft is there for about 15 years. It was like initially as an open source known as Mule ESP, but lately they are introducing Anypoint platform and Anypoint environment. So as an introduction for MuleSoft, as like introduction for this, I will not go in details which Kapil was touching and going about like the essential need for API, because like you all already know the essential need for APIs now. And I will just go and talk about technical use case for MuleSoft and how do you go and start your journey by building MuleSoft API and deploy it and offer it as API management platform. So MuleSoft, as we know it now, it consists of multiple modules, and each module of those will have a functionality. So we have a design center where we can design our APIs. We have Anypoint Exchange where we can offer those publish and offer those APIs. We have the Anypoint Management Center where we can manage our APIs and see the analytics for those APIs. These are the functionalities which is important for any API management platform. And as you see in APIGEE, Kapil was showing this, but in MuleSoft, in any other tool, I think MuleSoft is currently the leader on the market for API management. But nevertheless, MuleSoft offering an Anypoint platform where it's offering also the integration. It's offering the integration patterns, which is very rarely you see any other tool which is offering the full stack and the full platform where you do all the management and all the deployment and also the integration patterns, handling the integration patterns in the market. So it's similar to what you see on what you know about API and API management. It's starting from design. So you are designing your API. Then you need to publish those APIs in order to make it discoverable and visible. Prototyping, so you can immediately mock your API. So you can validate the design that you did on those APIs, that it's working fine and it's exposing the right method or the right API or the right functionality to the user, so they can validate it. And then you start building your APIs after it's valid and it's like you know that what to expect. Building, testing, and operating your APIs, then deploying them. This is normally done in CI/CD, and with MuleSoft. MuleSoft is Mavenized tool, and we can use Maven to do whatever we want to do in like offering and deploying. You can use other tools as well, but Maven is like integrated tool in MuleSoft, and you can have the plugin, you can use it and deploy your components to different environments. So to start with, it's just like I want to make this as interactive as possible. You can go to Anypoint platform. You can go to anypointmulesoft.com, and this is like you can create your free trial account where you will have all the functionality And you can, after this demo, after this presentation, you can go there, you can create your trial account, and you can immediately start building your APIs, and you will see how easy is this journey to build an API. And we will work together on this. If you have any question, please drop them on the chat, and I will try to answer them as soon as I can. So this is the environment where you do your registration immediately on this, so you can create your offer. If I go to this AnyPoint MuleSoft and go there, so if I sign out from my account, you just need to do a new account. So if you don't have account, sign up. So you can fill your information. All you need is an email address. That's the most important part. And you create a username and password. You verify that you are not a robot. And then you have an account similar to what you will see here. So I'm signing into my account. This is a new created account, so I don't have anything previously deployed or developed in this account. And I will immediately go with you in the start designing for an API. So this is like the interface where you want to start designing your API. And once we go here, it's creating your API. So you can create your API specification. Fortunately, with MuleSoft, you can create your API in different languages. In the Design Center, it's supporting RAML, it's supporting Open API specification, so you can develop your API in JSON, in YAML, and you can develop them here directly on this Design Center. The other tool that you might need for this exercise is the AnyPoint Studio. And with AnyPoint Studio here, you can download this AnyPoint Studio from your home screen. So if we go back to the home screen here, to AnyPoint platform, down, you will find a link to download AnyPoint Studio. And AnyPoint Studio is a tool which will look like something similar to this studio, where you can, it's an Eclipse-based studio, where you can develop your flows and make your flows, deploy your flows and make your business implementation when we are talking about integration and not only a proxy. So let's go to create our first API. And as I said, we create in the Design Center, and we will use the editor. We will not use the visual editor. The visual editor functionality is nice, but what we will use in this demo for tonight is the code editor. And this Design Center is not only offering only API and API designing and building, it's also offering what's so-called like simple mule flow. So you can immediately, for a proof of concept, start implementing and using this. So if we go to the Design Center again, and you can create a new, you see you can create a new application. And this new application is just a mule flow. So you can name it test. And if you create this, it will ask you a couple of questions. What will be the trigger? So you can choose what trigger you want to use. And for example, you want to use an HTTP trigger. So you have an HTTP listener. This HTTP listener will be developed for you, and then you can do the business mapping, and then you can send a message to a different connector. So if we do HTTP, so here we have HTTP connector, and we do a listener. Next, so I will select the target as, like, for example, I want to go to Salesforce. So I can go and connect to Salesforce. Using Salesforce connector, I can create like create an account or something. And then when I do done, I have already a MuleSoft flow which has been created for me, and I can run this MuleSoft flow directly. I need to configure the path here. I need to configure the MuleSoft, the Salesforce connectivity, and then I will be able to run this flow directly from here, and it will function and will give you the understanding, like if you want to do a data weave transformation, if you want to get attributes from the connector, the Salesforce connector, and map it to your HTTP response, you can do this. And this is like will be in no time. So you don't need to deploy, you don't need to do anything. It will be available immediately on the internet. But for now, we will talk about Design Center in the API terminology. So we will create an API specification. So we can create an API specification, as I said, in multiple languages. What we will use for this demo is the RAML. We can use the visual editor, so you can do this in visualization. But like what I will use for this is just code a RAML file. So let's go for a demo API and create specification. This will immediately open an editor, and in this editor we can start creating our like resources, and this will help you, and it's also containing some visualization. So if you want to talk about security, you can start talking about secured by or security schema or like whatever you want. So it will help you, but we will not go this because we will apply the security using the API manager. So you can build you can start immediately building your resources. So here I can start building, but for this demo I created this RAML file, just a simple one where we can just together go through it and build this out of it. So immediately after putting this, you will see like we have the resources, hello, just for hello world, and like customer for get customer, and you can define your response, and you can define an example for your response, and you will see like by defining those examples, we already have a mocking service where like will validate our design specification. So if I see here on the right hand side, I see the API endpoints, and I can immediately start a mocking service here. And by starting this mocking service, I can immediately start testing these methods, and I will send a request, and I can get a response immediately on those methods which has been implemented for me. So this is from design point of view. I got a response here, and it's like hello world, same as the example which I defined here, and it's adding the base URI to point to the mocking service. As you see here, like we did the design, so we have like an API now. It's functioning and it's working and it's mocked, so we can immediately start testing and start validating this API. Next step is to publish this API to Exchange. And by saying publish to Exchange, because as you saw in the beginning, we are talking about Anypoint Platform, and with Anypoint Platform, it's integrated. It's like a platform which is integrated together. So we can do a publish, and this will be published to Exchange. And I can do 1.0.0 as a version, and this is V1. So publish to Exchange, and then I have an API already published. Sorry. Yes. So this is now available on my Exchange, and Exchange is the other part of my presentation. Here in the Exchange, you can see it's a kind of a portal, and this portal where you see all your resources, not only all your resources, but also the resources provided by MuleSoft, because MuleSoft is providing you with multiple connectors, and those connectors can be used to do the integration using MuleSoft Runtime Manager. So you save lots of time by using like S4HANA OData connector. So you add this connector to your code, and then you just configure the connector to S4HANA, and then you will be able to consume your data directly. This is like MuleSoft providing a huge amount of components, a huge amount of connectors, and also some examples, some templates about like how to do synchronization between SAP and Salesforce. It's providing lots of rich functionalities here and connectors. The concentration now, we are talking about our demo, and this is like the demo app which will be used in our presentation. You can add whatever documentation you want here, and you see like the version 1.0.3 as a mocking service, and then you can like publish this app, and you can this API, and you can directly start using it from here. The next step for this is like we are going to API Manager. This is where we are start managing our API in API management style. And this is like MuleSoft is offering a component or a module called API Manager. And with this API Manager, you can immediately start managing your APIs. So let's go and manage an API from Exchange. And if we do this, like select the API to manage, and we have the demo API, and it will immediately check and will provide you with assets type and the API version, so it's discovered, and this is developed, will be developed using Mule 4 or above. So if we save this one, we have an API already offered here, which is providing us with an API instance. We will come back to this API instance in a minute. So this is like an API already, like we have the implementation here, which is the mock service, and we will start doing like the implementation, the actual implementation of our API. In the API Manager, we can configure the API, and we will talk about the security and adding security on top of this API once we are like talking about the security. This is the API implementation. So to implement your API, as I said in the beginning, you need to download the studio, which is an Eclipse-based studio. And this studio is very easy. And I will show you here how we can develop using this studio. So this is the studio. This is the canvas of the studio. We have like the package explorer, and we have outline. We have like the palettes that we can drag and drop to our project. And what I will do, I will create a Mule project. And this is like, let's say it's a demo app. And this demo app is like exists on our design center. So I will start immediately taking this from the design center. So I will go to this. This is our demo API, which we just developed. So if you select this one, and it will connect, and it will provide us with this finish. And once I do finish here, it will build already the flow for us. Like, so the components which will be used to develop our business will be built for us here. So you will see it's just like a matter of minutes, and then we have our API built. See, it's created the HTTP listener for us. It's created the API kit router, and it's created the basic errors. So all the basic errors from API point of view, like not accessible, not method not allowed, or the resource not found, the bad request. All this has been implemented directly for us. And we have on top of that also the API console, where we can also use it as a testing mechanism. The beauty of this, it's building also the business here. So if we go to the get hello, which is the service here, we have a response immediately prepared for us. And this is like, it can be like a ping service to a database. So you can go and drop down a database connector, and drop down a database functionality where you do a select statement, which will select based on a username. And then if the username exists, respond with the hello world. but that's the business behind this. So this is where you are implementing your actual Mule flow. This is how easy to do this. And on top of this, you can implement also the unit test cases, where it will be executed when you are doing development for your component, or when you are deploying your components. This is for the studio. And once we developed our component, we will use the studio for designing, unit testing, and debugging. So if we want to run our component in debug mode, we can also run this component in debug mode, and we can add breakpoints. So this is like a breakpoint, we add it, and then when we run this in debug mode, it will stop at the APIGEek router, and then we can step by step see what's happening in our studio and in our API behind the scenes. Now, in order to deploy this component, the deployment process is easy. So what we can do this in two ways. And the first way, I will use both of them, and I will show you why I will use both of them, because I need to deploy this component, and then it will not be discovered by the API manager, and I will show you why. So we can go to the Anypoint platform, and this is deploy to Cloud Hub. And with deploy to Cloud Hub, it will pop up a screen like this, and we can sign in if it will not discover it. So we have a demo app. Let's say it's just to make it unique name, because we are deploying to AWS, and with AWS, those apps should be unique. And then we can configure our API, and we can set like properties. This is the runtime properties, deployment properties, and inside we can enable like logging, and we can even assign a static ID to our API. Most of you know what the need for a static ID. So for example, if you are deploying a component to like communicate with FTP server, it should be whitelisted, and with the static ID, you can add this static ID so that this will be whitelisted for you. Deploy the application. This will deploy the application to Runtime Manager. So if once it says like we can close, we will close this. Okay, let's move. So here, like we are deploying, we will see that the component has been deployed to our Runtime Manager later. But now, like as I said earlier, we created something on the API Manager. And here we said like we have an API instance, and this will show you how much we are integrated, like MuleSoft modules, they are integrated together. This API instance is like auto discovery. And if we go to our developed component and we add to this API auto discovery, and then all what we need to do here is to provide an API ID, and then the flow name, which is the main flow in our API now. So if we put this will make this component as deployable, as discoverable. So the API manager, which we see here, it's saying like unregistered. So it's not seeing this endpoint, because this is a mocking endpoint. It's not registered. So it's trying to communicate with the API manager, with the runtime manager, to see like where is this API deployed, and to immediately hook the API manager to that component and start using it and managing that API. So we add the API discovery here, and then we need to deploy the component again. And how we will do the deployment, I will show you the other way of doing the deployment using Maven. And here I just go to this folder where I have my component has been saved, and I will just go to command line, And with command line, I will just execute a command, maven clean package. And this will trigger Maven, and Maven will do the creating of the package. It will create a jar file, and that jar file we can take with us and deploy to the environment. So if I choose this jar file and go to the environment again, we will see in the runtime manager that we have a component. It's already started. We will do redeploy this component again. So we choose the file and upload the file, and this is the file which we will upload. So open, this is like uploading the file. Now, in the properties for this API, we need to provide to the runtime manager and to API manager like an ID for environment. So not every environment, like our organization here, if we look at our organization, we have an organization, and we look at the access management in our organization. We have like in my organization here test, I have an organization ID, and I have a client ID and client secret, where I can hook them to this. So if I go back to runtime manager, this is my app. In the settings, in the properties, I will add this, and I will choose the file again. So this is the file I want to deploy, and then I will apply the changes. By applying the changes, it will deploy my app again. In this app, or this Mule runtime, is a containerized. So it's a container, and once this finished, I will show you the logs, because this runtime manager is deploying a service in a specific container, or like as like container by itself. So here, when it's deploying for the first time, it was creating the Cloud Hub worker at this IP address, and now we are deploying a new one, which will deploy or will create a new Cloud Hub worker. This is for like doing like zero downtime. So the first container will still continue running till the other container is up and running, and we have like a load balancer on top of those, where it will switch between the old app and the new app with zero downtime. And this is like a functionality provided out of the box from MuleSoft. So you don't need to worry about like when you are doing a new deployment and you are deploying your app. So this is like how we deploy from the studio or like from Maven. And in the meanwhile, it's doing like the deployment. I will talk about the policies for the API, and I will show you those policies, how we are dealing with the policy in API Manager. So if you go back to the API Manager, let's keep that running. And then we have this API, this demo API is up and running, or trying to connect to that API. See, we can apply multiple policies here, and as you see in the other tool like APIGEek, we have different kind of policies, and with those different kind of policies, like you can add a new policy, and those policies are categorized. So you can add a security policy, you can add a quality of service policy, you can add a troubleshooting policy, you can add whatever policy you think about. Like if we explore the security policy, you can do a tokenization, you can apply an OAuth2, basic authentication, IP listing, IP whitelisting, IP blacklisting, whatever like policy you can think about. It's either implemented here or in the roadmap to be implemented. On top of this, like even if the policy is not there, like you can add in the management, you have a custom policy. So if you want to add a custom policy, like if you search the policies which is already exist, and you found like my policy or the policy I want to apply is not there, and I want to add a new policy. So if you add a custom policy, you can add a custom policy from a YAML file, or like from an XML file. You can add your own policies if it's like specific, and you can add automated policies. And with the automated policies, you can like add policies which will be applied to each and every API which will be deployed to your environment. So if we go to like client policies, API administrator, and go to our API, for this demo, I will add 2 policies, and those 2 policies will be one for security, and the one for security here, I will choose for going with basic authentication. And with this basic authentication, I will configure the policy, and then I will just choose a username test with a password, and I will do apply. And this will be applied to the API which is I'm deploying currently. I'll add a new policy, and that policy will be for like quality of service, and I will add a rate limiting, like throttling. This is like a policy which I can add directly here, and let's say I will allow 3 requests per minute, and I will apply this policy as simple as this. And then like I will wait for this to come green, because that means my API has been registered. So if we go to the runtime manager again and look at this runtime manager, we will see this app still deploying, because there will be a communication currently happening between the runtime manager and API manager. So this is like the app itself is started successfully, but still it will need to make the communication, and it will need to make this zero downtime to switch between the previous app which has been deployed and the new app which will be deployed now. So this is like, now it's updated successfully, policies has been added, and everything is looking fine. So this is green, and the old version has been stopped, the new version has been added with 0 downtime. So we have like a switch between app, or like update the app without having any downtime or any impact on our client. So this is like the app which we deployed, and this is the URL for this app. So if we go to this URL and ask for hello, no, sorry, it will be API hello, and it will respond with hello world, because this is already stored somewhere in my environment. And if I go here, like the API manager, to make sure that I have the policies already configured, it still says unregistered. So that means it's still like looking for the communication. Okay, in the meanwhile, till this also becoming green, should see in the logs. It seems like I have. Sorry. There was a mistake done by me here, and I didn't save. So I added the API to discovery, but I didn't save this one. So I'm still deploying an old version. I'm sorry for this. It's just a confusion here, but yeah, it's demo effect. and it's too late. So now we are going back to update this one. And I will take, like, I have the properties already there. Yeah, it's like queued for deployment now. So it will create a new deployment. It will deploy the same application again, where we will see in the API manager, it will be green and it will be discovered. So here we have the API manager. Yeah, it will take a bit of time, but like here, let's go back to the presentation till this is going back. So we added the policies, and we will see after the deployment is done, we will see the policy has been updated and we can test this. The other functionality which API Anypoint platform is providing for any user is like monitoring, and you can monitor your APIs, so you can see like which API is consuming more CPU, and you can have a continuous monitoring in your APIs. So we will go to our environment, and we'll go to this monitoring. And with the monitoring, we will see, like, we will select the environment. We are talking about sandbox environment, and this is the API we have. And this is the instance that we are talking about. So if we view this instance, we will see, like, yeah, still it's because it's still deploying. We will see no data, and we will see like no average size of request, average average response time. You will see the average of response code, like request by HTTP response code. So you will see like a grouped responses for HTTP, and you will see request per method. And here, the most important, you will see the number of requests that you are receiving on this API. And you can like add limits, add number of minutes, number of days, number of months. You can do your analysis. You can generate your reports. You can also do a custom dashboarding. So you can add your custom dashboards. What's also nice here, you can add alerts. So you can add a new alert, which is, say, a basic alert. Alert name is test. And then we are selecting the environment, sandbox, resource name. Like, yeah, it's still not seeing my API. Yeah, but here you will select an application, and then like if you see like a message count above number, then like for at least 5 minutes, then you can send an email, and this email will be with a subject and a custom message, and you can add as much as you want from recipients. So this is like the alerting mechanism. The custom dashboarding, you can add portlets here, and you can configure those portlets. I want to add like a graph, and this graph like a panel title, and you can add rows, and you can apply the changes, and then you build your own dashboard. For now, let's continue and see if our API is, yeah, here it's this is API key is unlocked now, and it's available. So that means the API manager will be able to see this API, and we will see like a green active API. So if we go again and try to call this API, we are expecting to being asked to put a username and password. I will just do the test again from Postman, so it will be easier and it will be more visualized. So here I will update my URL. So this is the URL. This is my URL. If I call this one, yeah, I should see like authentication attempt failed because I didn't send the right authorization. So I need to send here the right username, the right password. And then if I do send, I will get the hello world. But we have another policy which is enabled. So if we make 3 calls in a minute, we should receive like a different error. Okay, we are receiving like 429, which is too many requests. So quota has been exceeded, and this is a response we are getting back from the API manager that we are using for managing this API. Now, if we go back to our environment and look at the monitoring part, so we should be able to see in this API like number of requests. We should be able to classify. This is the status code, and this is the get, and we see the average time for this. This is like some graphicals here showing like the policies and the policies applied, the minimum, the error codes that we are receiving. So those are like all like out of the box functionality for API manager in MuleSoft. If we go back to our presentation, and the module which I want to talk about last is the visualizer. And this visualizer is like the component in MuleSoft environment or in MuleSoft API endpoint platform, which is visualizing the calls between different APIs. So if we have like multiple APIs, because when we are talking about MuleSoft, we are talking about API-led connectivity, the concept of MuleSoft, and we are like talking about process layer, experience layer, and system layer, and those are like the layers communicating with each other. So it will visualize for you how many APIs exist on your API-led connectivity. It will also, based on like real-time calls between those APIs, get this information and show you a visual graph for your APIs and how they are consuming those services. And if we look at the environment here, our environment, we will see like, yeah, we have only one API, and we will see this API. So if I select the sandbox environment, we have one app, and this app is not enabled in monitoring, so we will go and enable it. So once this app is enabled, this will do again another redeployment for runtime manager. So if we go to the runtime manager again, we will see our app is redeploying again or updating. So in the MuleSoft visualizer here, after this app will be updated, and we create, because it will show it only after the first call. So if there is no calls to this API, you will not see it in the visualizer. You will see it in the visualizer only when there is a call happening to this, so it can decide that this call is coming from external call, like in here. Yeah, this is an external traffic, internal traffic, and it's going and it's calling a GMS, it's calling a database underneath. So everything here in the visualizer you can monitor and you can see. and it will bring all the APIs which is in your environment. Once this is updated, it will bring all the APIs in your environment, and you will see, yeah, still it's updating. So this is like what I want to talk about in this demo, in this quick demo, and quick try to enable you to see the how MuleSoft, how easy you can build an API using MuleSoft. If you create your trial account, your trial account will be like enabler for you to start building, and you can go to training.mulesoft, where they have provided like lots of online training, and you can register to one of those, and you will be certified as a Mule developer in less than a month if you are following this training. Thank you, everyone, and back to Asel.
Thanks a lot for your demo and your presentation, Mohammed. I think you have given a good overview of the capabilities of MuleSoft and how someone can, or how the people can develop an API in MuleSoft. Yeah, and I would like to go to the questions. Actually, there's one question in the Q&A from Sanne Visser. And she asked, what about the MuleSoft upgrade from version 3 to 4? I understand it's not backwards compatible. How do you advise dealing with the versioning of MuleSoft itself?
Yes, that's really a good question. MuleSoft version 3 is like already like an old version now, really old. It was like Mule 4 has been introduced about 2 years ago, and like the advice is to upgrade everything from 3 to 4. Actually, MuleSoft is providing a migration tool. So if you are a client of MuleSoft, you can make a call to MuleSoft support, and they will provide you with a migration tool to migrate from 3 to 4. And this will be the easiest way to migrate from MuleSoft 3 to MuleSoft 4, because it's not backward compatible indeed, what you are mentioning here. So you need to upgrade it using a migration tool. And then this will enable like Maven, and you can deploy using your CI/CD pipeline, your new generated component from the migration tool.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
What I was wondering also, it struck me from both your presentations. If I look at the lifecycle of creating the API, then actually the build phase is quite late in that cycle. And before you do the build, you have already done quite a lot of work.
Yeah,
Can
indeed.
you explain a little bit why it is this way?
Indeed, like the API itself, like building an API technically is not a problem. The problem is what Kapil was talking about in the first presentation is digital enablement. So to make it digital and to enable the digital world, then you need to design your APIs, and the design for the APIs to understand what do you want from the data, what do you want from your resources. That's the challenge, the most challenging part of building an API. Using a tool to build an API, the tool at the end is a tool, and most of the tool in the market will provide you with like the capability to build an API. What we are talking about here in this session, we talk about APIGee, we talk about MuleSoft, and those are the real leader on the Gartner Magic Quarter, and they are the real leaders because they are providing a design capability, and they are like facilitating your design, facilitating your validation, providing you with the mock services. Those are the ideas which is enable you from business point of view, like to build your APIs and to create your APIs, because APIs should be built to support business, to support use cases. They are not built to just build an API. They are built to support the use case and to support the business.
Okay, yeah. So it's very important that you first create a contract. So
Yes.
to say, and
That's
based
true.
on that contract, you build your API at the background, but also the connecting parties can already build on that contract their side
Yes.
of the. Yeah.
That's true.